Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison, which I had no idea.
Is under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to stay hidden.
Brittney was hit with the shock of a lifetime. And no, it wasn't a surprise birthday celebration. Doctors have just uncovered some shocking, almost unbelievable details about her health, leaving Brittney completely on edge. As if that wasn't enough, Caitlin Clark suddenly went on the offensive, flipping the entire situation on its head. What happened after that? Buckle up, because the chaos that followed is both hilarious and wildly intense, and every second of it is hard to believe.
Y'all gotta see this. So Brittney Griner has just been banned from the WNBA. After this situation with Caitlin Clark is going viral, where she made some extremely racist remarks from the bench after getting fouled out by Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is just insane. Just watch this video, bro.
Brittney Griner just had a major meltdown, and no, it wasn't over something trivial like the last slice of pizza. This time, it happened because doctors delivered a revelation so serious it rattled the WNBA's carefully controlled comfort zone like a Jenga tower caught in a storm. Yes, you heard that correctly. The same Brittney Griner known for her physical play, heated outbursts, and turning women's basketball into something resembling a WWE main event is now under intense pressure after medical professionals chose to take a much closer look at her biological profile.
Who could have predicted that Brittney Griner might get mistaken for a man?
Here's where things really take a turn. For years now, the public has been told that simply identifying as a woman is enough to gain eligibility in women's sports, no questions asked, leaving many female athletes wondering if they missed out by not doing the same. But Brittney Griner didn't exactly coast by quietly. She forced her way into the spotlight with aggressive play on the court and then made matters worse with a highly controversial outburst. Most people remember the incident involving Caitlin Clark, and it went far beyond ordinary poor sportsmanship. The remarks she directed at Clark sparked backlash for crossing into racially charged territory, raising serious questions about conduct, accountability, and double standards within the league.
Brittney Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing white trash white girl because after she fouled out, she decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and was...
But brace yourself, because this is where things really escalate. The medical findings aren't just mildly surprising or casually interesting. They point to something much bigger. They suggest that Brittney Griner may be competing under conditions that place her in an entirely different category, with a level of physical advantage most female athletes could never realistically attain. And according to critics, that advantage isn't subjective or debatable, it's biological. What's made the situation even more explosive is the league's refusal to address it openly, a silence that many find impossible to ignore.
There are a number of states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe.
Really, Brittney? Really? Can we switch this Brittney with the other Brittney, please, and bring her back?
Let's be clear. This isn't some theory dreamed up by a handful of online critics. We're talking about trained medical professionals examining things like bone structure, muscle mass, recovery rates, and injury history. And according to the narrative, even they seem baffled. By their assessment, Brittney Griner's build, vocal range, and overall movement patterns don't line up with what's typical for most female athletes. Picture a doctor pausing mid-review and saying, "Hold on, that bone density doesn't match." Meanwhile, critics say the WNBA's response has been to shrug it off entirely, acting as if there's nothing worth discussing and urging everyone to just move along.
Made a trade for the Merchant of Death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he got arrested. He sold $10 million of arms to the Houthis. You think this was an even trade? The WNBA is nothing more than the WWE with women in basketball shorts.
To make matters worse, quite literally, critics point to footage showing Brittney Griner making forceful contact with Caitlin Clark, an incident they describe as anything but subtle. In that context, they argue the play feels less like routine physicality and more like overwhelming dominance. When paired with ongoing questions about potential biological advantages, detractors say the situation takes on a deeper layer, and past inflammatory remarks only intensified an already volatile debate. Those same critics accuse the WNBA of hypocrisy, noting that the league has long promoted inclusion and fairness while, in their view, avoiding difficult conversations around competitive balance. They argue the league sends mixed messages, celebrating equity publicly while sidestepping concerns that some believe deserve transparent discussion. According to this perspective, if a different player profile were involved, enforcement and consequences might look very different. The controversy doesn't stop there. Observers also point to a resurfaced Instagram incident involving Griner, where a video reportedly bypassed automated content filters that are typically strict. Some see that moment, whether a technical error or not, as symbolic of a broader issue. Systems that critics claim are inconsistent, unclear, and overly protective. Taken together, they argue it reflects a league struggling to reconcile its stated rules with the realities it's being asked to confront.
Seems that the WNBA is, well, we know it's not a serious league, but it seems like maybe they are trying to hide something. They certainly do not want anybody with an opposing viewpoint covering their league. Now, mind you, this is a league that's never turned a profit. This is a league that, even with Caitlin Clark having joined this league last year, lost $40 million.
It used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. And that's pretty gross.
I act like this is okay.
Still, some observers say it's easy to understand why Brittney Griner appears to be under pressure. From their perspective, this isn't only about the fallout from controversial remarks or the on-court incident involving Caitlin Clark. It's about the possibility of a much bigger reckoning, one where her eligibility is challenged, past achievements are re-examined, and her public legacy takes a serious hit. Critics argue that if calls from parts of the medical community for chromosome analysis, hormone evaluations, or bone density testing were ever acted upon, Griner could become a flashpoint in the broader debate over whether professional sports should rely on strict biological criteria rather than self-identification alone. They also warn of potential legal consequences. In this line of criticism, if it were determined that she competed under disputed eligibility standards, lawsuits could follow from athletes who believe they were unfairly displaced. The financial and reputational costs, they argue, could be enormous. Yet instead of addressing these concerns openly, detractors say the league's response has been near silence, more damage control than dialogue. According to this view, avoiding the issue won't make it disappear, and postponing transparency may only make the eventual fallout harder to contain.
Still coming, and that's going to bump up to about $220 million a year. But even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear, like they have now that she's been injured. But that is not teaching this league anything. A couple of weeks ago, and even though it went viral, it somewhat got lost in the shuffle. Brittney Griner's effing white girl trash comments that was caught on video. Some people tried to claim it was effing whack call. I'm sorry, there's not a world where I...
At the core of this debate is a simple question. Women's sports are meant to ensure fair competition among women. When biological differences are ignored in favor of identity alone, the playing field stops being level. Critics argue that if Brittney Griner remains in the WNBA without transparency or consistent standards, it sends a damaging message to female athletes who train for years expecting fairness. This controversy goes beyond one player. It reflects a broader crisis facing women's sports, where leagues like the WNBA claim to champion equality while avoiding hard conversations about biology, safety, and competitive integrity. Preserving fairness isn't about discrimination. It's about protecting the foundation of women's athletics and the opportunities athletes have fought to earn.